Nobody loved Charlie Kirk. No one loved this poor man. Um, Ironically, actually, I think the only people who loved him and the people who will miss him are those that hated him, who celebrated his death, and who hated him in life. Hello, everyone. It's Leo. Welcome to the Leo Show. How you guys doing? I've had some realizations. I've covered this Charlie Kirk's death for this week. And yesterday, when I was watching Ben Shapiro on Bill Maher talk about Charlie Kirk for 4 minutes of the whole hour-long program, it really hit me that Charlie Kirk is such a tragic figure. And even as someone who didn't like him, what I realize is, poor guy, man. He was not loved by anyone. Everybody used this poor man. Everyone. And the only people who loved him, as I said, are those who hated him. And I think that's why he did all of these debates. Because he was around people that at least they felt something. They felt something enough to go see him, to go talk to him. But to understand this, we have to look at Charlie Kirk's life, which I read about. Charlie Kirk was a young man, 17, 18 years old. And when he was that age, he was a libertarian. You know, if you know anything about libertarians, a lot of people start off as libertarians. And they're generally people with good souls, you know, good hearts. I understand some liberals may not agree because, you know, libertarians are very individualistic. But they tend to be good in the sense of they genuinely feel that they can make the world better. And Charlie Kirk started off as a libertarian. He wasn't the man he ended up being near the end of his life. And when he was really young, he dropped out of college. And what happened was that an older man in Chicago took him in to tell him to go pursue politics full time, and founded Turning Point. Turning Point was annoying when I was in college. I didn't like Turning Point. Turning Point was stupid, but I really understand it a lot more now, knowing that, you know, it's the product of someone who started it when they were 18. There was a lot of love in that organization. Like, he really did care about it, okay? And look, Turning Point was a belligerent organization. It was a bad organization. It is a bad organization, and it encourages division. But being real here, guys, I mean, Charlie Kirk's death, now that I think about it, it's a lot like, for the people that hated him or claim to hate him, you're not going to have poor old Charlie to kick around anymore, okay? But more importantly, no one loves the man. And that's what I noticed, okay? No one loved Charlie Kirk. And why do I say that? I say that because I feel like Edward Norton in Fight Club, when they're all saying his name was Robert Paulson, and he tells them, please shut up, I'm trying to honor this man here. Ben Shapiro, I did not see him take a day off. I did not see him cry. Not that I like crying, but, you know, some reflection. It was an immediate attempt to grab Turning Point. He did not give a eulogy to Charlie Kirk on Bill Maher. He did not, on his show, all he did was use profanity to try to express some emotion. Charlie Kirk's wife, her eulogy, you know, in part, it's unfortunate she has that Mar-a-Lago look, that Botox, and that makes it very hard for us to perceive emotion. But regardless of that, if you looked at Mike Lee's tweet last night of her crying over his dead, embalmed body, and touching his wax-looking hands in an edited-together video with pictures after that, that is not someone who loved Charlie Kirk, man. I don't know if you've been to a funeral or not, and I don't like to question people's motives, but if you edit a video together like that, it is truly gross, man. It's truly gross. The poor man has not rest in peace from the moment a bullet struck him. And this realization that no one actually loved him is sad. It's sad for me. It really is. Charlie Kirk, what I realized is that Charlie Kirk was a lot like the lives many of us. He led a life like one that we all lead, okay? Charlie Kirk was psychically, maybe even physically, who knows, molested by everyone around him, used and discarded, and then after his passing, people pretend to care. The indignity people feel, like I saw Patrick Bet David, angry, wrathful, righteous anger at TMZ for laughing at the guy's death. What does that matter? I am a Baudrillardian, right? He's dead. It's time for you to mourn. If you actually, who cares how other people feel? Who cares? It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. And the fact that they use this time to focus and grift on other people's you have no control over other people. You really don't. You don't. Or their emotions. If they want to celebrate and laugh, or if they want to cry and despair, it doesn't matter. What you feel has to be real. It has to be real. And what I noticed is that for a lot of these people, it has become something of, were you celebrating Charlie Kirk's death? Buddy, let the body get cold at least first, right? I mean, I understand maybe a month later you realize, oh man, people were making fun of this, and I'm going to try to get what's mine. I'm going to try to get them fired. I'm trying to hurt them, their reputation. Okay, but the fact you couldn't even wait a few hours, do you know what that shows? That shows that you did not feel anything emotionally. You were not affected. You were simply, everything is a counter reaction to a reaction. Charlie Kirk did not matter to most people who say they felt bad for him. It's a thin line between love and hate. And sincerely, these people celebrating Charlie's death, enough to make stuff to sell, like graphics and all this. These people, I truly think that they saw Charlie as more of a human being than those who are pretending, who really think that attacking TMZ, who think that going on Bill Maher like everything is normal. Bill Maher himself too. Bill Maher used Charlie Kirk for views. He got him on his podcast. They spent time together. And 4 minutes of his show, nothing. Truly sad, man. Poor guy. Sincerely, pour one out for Charlie. I didn't realize this at the time. I think there was a lot of confusion. But I will say, seeing this as someone who didn't like him, it makes me sad. And I understand what Charlie was yearning for and what he was looking for in these college debates. And a lot of people think it was about spreading a political message. I no longer think that. I think this was a man who, like many of us, was thrust into a world that is cold, it is unforgiving, it is uncaring. People will... How much money did Charlie Kirk get into Ben Shapiro's pockets? How much money did he get into all of these people who did not care? I'm sure Patrick Bet David, Tucker Carlson, whose reaction I didn't find it convincing, All of these people got money from Charlie Kirk, and even money cannot make them care, The only person that I've seen, because there might be more, that I genuinely seemed to care, not in a way of hate, was Alex Stein, the comedian. He was someone who, I don't like crying, but his cries were at least authentic. And he was talking about how Charlie helped him in his life. But aside from him, I can't think of anyone. I mean, dude, do you know how sick it is to do his show? The man is gone. Let the show rest for a week at least before you do some sort of show. Immediately getting into his Twitter and using it. We can't lose engagement, can we? And so, man, Charlie Kirk, no one loved this man. And I feel for him. And I hope that in private, that there were friends and family that did love him. That when they saw this, they were quiet. They felt real grief, real sorrow. And they kept it to themselves, because that would make me more comfortable. But man, it's a cold fucking world, huh? I mean, it really astounded me to know that You could be Charlie Kirk. You could be a successful guy. You could be married. You could get people money in their pockets. You could genuinely help people's careers out, get them started. And at the end of the day, you're nothing more than a pawn in their game. Truly, the wife's video of her crying over his body was the last straw for me, where I said, no, this is sick. These are sick people who are using this man. So, you know, I don't really know what else to say. All I have to say is, Charlie Kirk, I understand you, man. I understand you now. And I think that these debates were probably or possibly an act of desperation, an act of seeking out some real human connection, which is something that we're all missing. And that's why, you know, I said yesterday, go out to the bar, go out to the club, go get in an altered mental state. Dude, we gotta love each other in the sense of, not the traditional stupid sense that people do. And this is an aspiration that will not happen. I know the way the world is headed. And this is not going to happen, but you should try for your own sake. You gotta find someone out there that you can love and that can love you. And that when you die, because we all die, we all end up in the fucking ground, dude, just like Charlie Kirk. They truly look at your body and they don't take out the phone. They don't record themselves crying. They simply allow themselves to feel sadness or even feel joy. That is more real than whatever the fuck Ben Shapiro did for Charlie Kirk. That is more real. And that's a tragic realization. But it's the world we're in. This atomized, individualized world is only going to encourage more and more people to make these shallow relationships. And only in death do we see how shallow these relationships really were. And I really hope that he can rest in peace. And you know what's ironic is I think he would understand if he had to see all this. He would understand that the show must go on, the grift must go on. But damn, dude, it really hurts to know that it is your own people at the end of the day, that it's not other people. All of you guys celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, as I said, they're not my bag, but I understand it. But guys, I got to tell you, I think you're going to miss the man long term. I do think that you're going to look back on these moments that Charlie Kirk came out to campus to talk to you, even if it was completely unproductive and stupid and bad for society, as I make the claim, that at least you got something out of it and he got something out of it. And, you know, at least it was a rough marriage rather than being a widow. I think that's what people will realize. You will not have poor old Charlie Kirk to kick around anymore. And for those like PBD and Ben Shapiro who are just exploiting this, I have no words. And if you still follow these people and think that they actually care, God bless you, but it's not good, man. You're not going to be okay. With that, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate you tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Get out there, get in the club, go meet someone who, when you die, you know, they might actually let themselves feel something. With that, you know, like, comment, subscribe. Join our lives on Tuesdays. Have a great Saturday night, man. Have a great Sunday. Spend time with your family, with people who actually care. And I'll see you guys.